everything's going to be fine. Nothing's going to go wrong. Everything's going to work the way I want it to. I'm going to get this. We're going to edit it. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have so much fun creating art because art is so much fun to create, and everything's going to be okay. I've been consuming a lot of media lately. Everything from like classic TV shows to interpretive dance and long YouTube videos about things I know absolutely nothing about. It is my favorite thing to do, and as someone who perpetually just talks all the time about every little thing that I see, I think it's my turn to finally get on the internet and yap about a show that's been off the air for 10 years when nobody asked me to do that ever. But I think my husband is pretty tired of listening to me talk about things, so it really is your turn to listen so he can have a break and go to bed. So this is the culmination of about a week and a half of laser focused ADHD, just doing this for 24 straight hours a day and having so much fun doing it. So come along with me, if you will. I decided that since every season has like a central problem or mystery, if you're going off the books, that is resolved by the end, that every season would get its own video. And the minisodes that come between the seasons, I'll just put them at whatever season they end, like they tack on to. So they'll have that video too. I just want to maximize my amount of time in your life so that you fall in love with the sound of my voice and you just love listening to me yap. Like, that's really my plan here. I plan to just make you love me by exposure. So I really am going to drag this on as long as it takes. No, I'm just kidding. It's just I'm lazy and I don't want to do all of this all in one thing because it would be multiple hours and I'm kind of lazy. So that's what we're doing. So before we jump into it, there is something that I want to say because it's really important to me and not because I feel like I have to say it. I just want to say it. Like I've said a little bit earlier, I've been just consuming media nonstop lately. And part of that is YouTube videos from really awesome creators who talk about things that I'm interested in and things that I'm not interested in and then become interested in because they talk about it. And I just want to thank them and like acknowledge them and kind of give them their props because without them I wouldn't have gotten on the internet to yap about this. I wouldn't have like put in all the effort because I'm doing it because they inspired me to do it. And while this is not a totally original idea, because sadly for me, I did not invent the concept of recapping old media on YouTube. I wish I had. God, I'd be living large, but I didn't. I do want to acknowledge some of the people that did it before me and do it better than me and like just are awesome that I'm subscribed to. So there's Jenny Nicholson, Mike's Mike, Dead Meat. I can speak English, I promise. Kaijutsu, CinemaSins, Wendigoon, Creepcast, Papa Meat. All these people that talk about kind of just random shit that they like or they find interesting. All of these people, they're really cool. If you haven't heard of some of them, you should check them out. They're funny. And as far as I know, they're good people. If it comes out in 6 months that they like to kick puppies, don't blame me. I didn't know that. But they all seem really great and I enjoy their content. And so I just wanted to put out there that while what I'm doing is not original, I feel like you can contribute to a genre or style of art and still have that art be valid and still have it be meaningful. But you should be original and you should kind of acknowledge your inspiration for the things that you do because it's important. All of those people worked hard, just like I did, and all of those people deserve props and just more people to engage with their stuff because it's really good. And that's all I wanted to say on that. But I mean, I couldn't go through this and not mention those people, you know what I mean? So True Blood aired from about 2008 to 2014, I think, because I was a pretty young teenager when this was kind of ending. So I think that's what it was. And it's based on a series of books by Charlene Harris. And the series is called The Southern Vampire Mysteries. And if you haven't read them, it's not mandatory to watch the show because the show kind of goes off on its own after a while. But like the books are funny. Like, are they the most well-written thing you've ever read in your entire life? No, but they're funny and they're kind of heartfelt and I kind of like them. And there are things in the book that I prefer way more than some of the plot points that the writers are going to get into on this show. So Alan Ball is the person that adapted the series. He read the first book and was like, this is good. Let's make this a show. And while I appreciate it, thank you, Alan. Everybody say thank you, Alan. I do have to question your sanity, because who reads that book and goes, yeah, let's make this a show, but like add more tits and more gore? I don't know. But anyway, like I said, there's 7 seasons, 80 episodes, and 6 minisodes that we'll be covering. And it's all thanks to Alan. So when I get a brain tumor from this, I'm going to name it after you, buddy. The show opens with 2 college kids pulling into a convenience store after seeing a sign for True Blood on the side of the road. And True Blood is synthetic blood that was made for vampires to drink. And they walk in and they're talking to the cashier, and they want something called V. We don't know what that is yet, but that's what they ask for. And the cashier pretends to be a vampire to scare them, and they're all laughing and cutting up. And above them on the TV is a newscast of a female vampire named Nan Flanagan, who we will meet later, so that's why I'm bringing her up. And a reverend named Theodore Newland. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I'm pretty sure. And they're debating about something called the Vampire Rights Amendment, which I don't really know how that's going to work for you, because there are still humans who don't have rights. So, like, I don't really know how you're going to get that. But good luck. And little do the people in the store know that there's an actual vampire who is buying True Blood behind them, and he is not a fan of the things that are being done and said by these chuckle fucks. And he basically threatens their life, and he's like, if I ever catch you doing this shit again, I'll kill you and I'll eat you. Like, stop your shit. So what I like about this cold open that the books kind of struggled to do for me is that it sets the tone of the world in a really good way, because Charlene kind of pussyfooted around. And she was just like, everything's great. Like, Sookie's happy and the sun is shining in Louisiana. Blah, 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 blah. But, like, no, bitch. If vampires came out tomorrow and they were like, we're real, we've always been real, LOL, can we have rights now? Like, there would be problems. There would be tension. There would be conflicts. And I think the show does a really good job of setting that up in this cold open without, like, being heavy-handed about it. And I fucks with that. Alan. And then we get one of the coolest, like, opening, like, title screen music, whatever the fuck you call them. The imagery is cool. The music is good. Like, I fuck with it so hard. And whoever did that, I hope your pillow is always cold. Like, it's so good. Unironically, I watch the opening credits. They're so good. Like, that southern gothic horror kind of derelict vibe, I fuck with it so hard. So now that we've gotten all that out of the way, it's time to meet the people that we'll actually be spending the season with. And the show does it in a weird way. So I'm going to tell you the story in the way that makes sense to me, because we're here in this content, and, like, if I jump back and forth like they do, we're going to be here for 7 years, and I don't want to be here for 7 years, and you don't want to be here for 7 years. So we're going to do it my way, because I'm the supreme being. Like, I know what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. We're in Merlotte's, which is a bar and grill owned by Sam Merlotte. Okay. 1 + 1 = 2. He has a few people working for him, like Sookie, our main character, who is a telepath and a waitress, Lafayette, who is a cook, Arlene, who is a waitress, Dawn, who is a waitress, and Tara, who doesn't work there yet, but she's about to, so I'm just going to say that she works there as a bartender. Like, that whole plot line is like 2 seconds, so she works there as a bartender. And they're all here, minding their business, and a man comes in that none of them seem to recognize, and he sits down in Sookie's section. And Sam seems a little sketched out by this man. Tara's not really paying attention. Arlene's not really paying attention. Dawn's not really paying attention. But Sookie notices pretty immediately that this is a vampire. Like, in her gut knows that shit. And she kind of alludes to once that he looks different. I mean, he does. He look weird. But, which is a plot point from the book, that vampires kind of look different to her. They kind of, like, glow. Like, I don't know how to explain what Charlene was trying to say, but they glow. I think that's what she's referencing, but it's not really important. So But the main thing is that she can't hear his thoughts, and she notices that pretty immediately. And she goes over to him and takes his order, which is a glass of red wine because they don't have the True Blood. And she's kind of talking to Sam and Tara, and she's very excited about this vampire being here because they've never had one in the town before. And Sam's not excited, and Tara's fucking scared, and Arlene's fucking scared, and Dawn is just... she's not really doing much. She's just kind of there. So, in the background, while they're kind of having the debate of, like, should we even let him in here, blah, 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 these two customers, Mac, I think his name is, and Denise, I don't know, they're the tweaker couple. They're in here, and they've kind of locked on to the fact that Bill is a vampire. And they are in his booth, all up in his personal space. I mean, Denise is practically sitting in his lap. She's getting loose in the Merlots, okay? Have some decorum.
Oh my god. I thought this was a classy party.
And Sookie's not taking that very well at all because they have weird thoughts, and like he was thinking about having sex with her, and she was thinking she was a slur that I cannot say, and like it's just really weird, and she doesn't like it. And she's kind of like, Sam, we gotta help him, like we gotta get them away from him. And Sam's like, he's on his fucking own. Like, I don't know what I look like, but I ain't security. He's on his own. And Tara's like, yeah, fuck him, he can defend himself. And you know what? They're right. I'm on their side. Sookie's like, no, we gotta help him. And she turns around and they're gone. And I think that's kind of weird because the only logical explanation is that Bill willingly walked out with them.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
And there's no reason for him to do that. We heard their thoughts. We saw her pawing at him. It's just weird. And Sookie, instead of thinking like this man left with these people on purpose, is immediately just like, oh, well, he's in danger. So she leaves and runs outside. And I mean, she was right. He's on the ground. He's covered in silver. They're draining his blood. They have blood bags. It's not pretty. It's not good. And again, she just runs right past the red flag. Because, girl, what do you mean? What do you mean you have blood bags? What do you mean you just have the equipment to drain a human being of all their blood? Or a vampire of all their blood? Like, that's... I feel like that's difficult to get. Like, I'm not willing to look it up, but I feel like it's difficult to get all of the supplies you need to drain someone completely of their blood and keep that blood safe and keep it from spoiling. And that's so weird. And she runs right past that red flag because and if you're going to do all of that, why would you have that shit in your car when you go out to eat with your tweaker wife? Like, that's weird. So she chases him off and they don't get the blood, and she takes the silver off of him, and this is where we learn that silver burns them kind of like acid. And she's like, oh, well, good to know. And he's like, yeah, but don't tell anybody though. Keep it our secret. And they're having a little conversation, and a dog runs up and it's like sniffing both of them, and she's petting it and it runs away. And Bill's not fucking with the dog. Red flag. Anybody who doesn't like dogs, fuck them. And Bill says, what are you? And she, again, running right past the context clues of the situation, goes, a waitress? Which would be clever of her if she knew what the fuck was going on, but she doesn't know what the fuck is going on, so it's kind of just a dumb answer. He thanks her. She's like, yeah, no problem. LOL, I gotta go back to work. And she goes back inside, and Tara's very upset that she ran after a vampire and Sam is nowhere to be seen. She now works there. That's, like, while she was outside dealing with Bill and the rat trays, like, that's when Tara got the job. Like, that's how fast it is. Crazy. So then we jump to Jason, who is Sookie's older brother, and the town whore. Derogatory. Like, usually, I fuck with a whore. You know what I mean? Like, no judgment here, girl. But this is derogatory whore. And for right now, he is having sex with a woman named Maudette. And while he is having sex with Maudette, he notices that on her thigh are vampire bite marks. Like the two little, right? And he is anti whatever the fuck that is. And he's like, ew, Like, what the fuck, you had sex with a vampire? And she's like, he paid me $1,000 to let him drink my blood, and it was the best sex I ever had, so fuck you. Which, valid points. But I want to call that out, that he paid her $1,000, because when we meet this vampire that she had sex with, and we will, he doesn't seem like the type of person to pay her. It's very against everything that we kind of see that vampire do later. So that's a little confusing, and I just wanted to point that out. He's about to leave because he's kind of disgusted, and he's slut-shaming, which is... like, how are you going to be a slut and then slut-shame? And she's like, I videotaped it. And he's like, oh. And they watch it. And it's this guy over here. And he is bald, and he has like a skeleton tattoo on his back, and he's weird, and he's got like red eyes, and it's very strange. And I don't like it at all. Like, bad vibes immediately. So they watch it, and then they're going at it, and he's choking her and like degrading her, which is fine. They're consenting adults, and that's fine. Ain't nobody care. And she goes limp. And he immediately is like, oh my God, I just killed this woman. And instead of like trying to do anything to save her, this fucking idiot runs out of the house with his clothes and fucking books it out of there. And even though we see her wake up and laugh because she had, you know, fucked with him and she was not actually dead, it's still like horrible that his first instinct was to like run away and not just like, you know, call an ambulance. Like, he just kind of leaves. And Maudette wakes up, we see her, and she's laughing. She's like, fucking idiot. And then it kind of pans over, and we see that there's a camera. So not only did she record the vampire, she recorded Jason. That's going to become important later. So he leaves her house in a hurry, and then next thing you know, he's at Merlotte's waiting for Dawn to get off work. And it's... the timeline's not clear on when he left Maudette and when he got here, but it's kind of implied to be very, very soon after that. So it's weird that you think you murdered a woman and your first move is to go fuck this other woman in such a short amount of time that I don't even think he washed his dick. Like, I think he's gross. It's derogatory whore. That's derogatory whoredom right there. So while he's waiting for Dawn, Tara is talking to him, and we learn that Tara has a huge crush on Jason, and that Sam has a huge crush on Sookie. So the Stackhouse siblings are just prime real estate, apparently, because everybody be wanting them. Sookie goes home and tells her grandmother, who she lives with, that she met a vampire, and she says his name is Bill, and Gran is very excited about that. Like I said, he's the first vampire in the town that they know of, obviously. And she's very excited, and she just is happy. Like, Adele's just happy. Like, life experiences are fun for her. What that must be like, Adele. Sookie goes upstairs, and she lays down, and she has this dream that Bill is outside of her window, and they're doing some smoochy. Jason shows up the next morning while they're eating. It's kind of like alluded to that he was at work, so I don't know if they're eating lunch or if they're eating brunch or what the fuck, or who has any work responsibility around here, because she always leaves work and he always leaves work, and it's just very weird. But he shows up and they're all eating and talking, and during this conversation, by the way, something interesting, not relevant but interesting, Sookie says that she's making $10 an hour plus tips at Merlotte's. And while that doesn't sound like a lot, because it's not, that's $10 an hour in 2008, which is $15 an hour, roughly, give or take a few cents, in 2025 money. And that's fucking crazy that she is making $15 an hour as a waitress in a tiny-ass town. Like, girl, Sam wants some of that so bad, he can't stand it. But aside from that conversation, Adele gets a phone call because she's like head gossip old lady of Old Lady Gossip Town, okay? Like, when there is news to be had, Adele has the news. And the news is that Maudette is dead. Like, actually for real dead, and not just like playing dead. Which is pretty interesting, because Jason thinks he did it. Sookie's suspicious because of his thoughts, but we know that she was alive. So that's very interesting. Whoa, 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 whoa. After Jason leaves, Sookie goes upstairs to get ready for work, and Gran comes upstairs to ask Bill if she sees him again, to give an interview for the local historical society that talks about the Civil War, because apparently a lot of people in the town are related to Confederate soldiers. Gag. She says, yeah, sure, whatever. She's not really sure if she's ever going to see him again, but, she'll ask. And that kind of ends there. Cut to Jason at his job site being a lazy bitch and making everybody else do the work. Like, he's literally laying there, like, with his shirt up, tanning. Like, bitch, you cannot be a dumb whore and then not do your job. Anyway, he's on the phone with Dawn trying to arrange another date because apparently he just can't go 5 seconds without having sex. And Detective Andy Belfler and Detective Dearborn show up to question him because, again, Maudette is dead. And he is on tape with her last night having sex and choking her and leaving. But again, Jason doesn't know about that. So he is pretty publicly arrested in front of the road crew, which includes Lafayette, because apparently he's not making the $10 an hour plus tips that Sookie is. Renee, who is dating Arlene, and Hoyt, who is not on the board because I forgot. Sorry, Hoyt. Sorry, Hoyt. So Jason's publicly arrested, which really sucks for Sookie because when she gets to work that night, everybody and they fucking mama already knows what happened. Lafayette was there and he's a gossip. Renee told Arlene and Arlene told everybody. Dawn was on the phone and... that's not Dawn. Dawn was on the phone and she told everybody. Like, everybody just knows everything. So she's having a hard time in this shift because, Adele is already like, you have to prove he's innocent. You read people's thoughts and you prove that he's innocent. He's your brother, okay? And I'm like, girl, you don't know that he didn't do that shit. You're holding out blind hope that he didn't do it because that's your grandson. But he really could have done that shit. Like, I'm going to need you to be so fucking for real. Anyway, and then the walking red flag comes back. And Sookie's like, yay! Because she can't hear his thoughts and it's like a little relief for her. And I get that, girl, but, watch yourself. And she goes over there and they're having a conversation and she goes, hey, I have some questions for you. Do you mind meeting me when I get off work? I get off at this time. And he's like, yeah, I'll be there. And then he kind of leaves and everybody's being a judgmental asshole. The rest of her shift goes by, listening to people's thoughts, doing whatever. And when she goes out to her car, Bill's not there. Which, what do you have to do with your life? Like, you're literally immortal and you're living in this town. Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't you be here on time? That's weird. And she's waiting for a second and Sam goes into his trailer next to the bar and she's kind of out there alone and she's like, well, he's not here, I guess I'll go home. When who should show up but the Tweakers? And the Tweakers are not happy with her and they start beating the shit out of her. And the last time we see her, she's on the ground and it's big oofs for her. And that's where we end the pilot. And I like the pilot a lot because it does what a pilot is supposed to do. Shocking. I know. But it sets up a mystery. It sets up a conflict with her and the rat trays. It sets up this instant attraction and maybe like a love triangle with Sam. It introduces some side characters that we're going to get to know pretty well over the course of the show. And it just kind of grabs your attention. We haven't met all of these people. We don't know what all of this is yet. But like, we've got a good idea that something's going on, something's wrong, something's eerie, something's spooky. And I like it. It did pilot-related activities. And you know what? Give her her flowers because she really did do that. Episode 2 picks up about 5 minutes later, probably. Sookie is looking considerably worse than she was before. They've kicked her in the jaw. They've kicked her in the ribs. They've kicked her in the spine. They're having a great time just being Tweaky McTweak and his wife, Mrs. Tweaky McTweak. Like, it's crazy. And the dog shows back up, but the dog gets kicked and runs away. And I'm just like, damn. You couldn't bite a bitch. Don't kick dogs, by the way. And And then Bill finally makes an appearance, like, damn, it really fucking took you long enough. And he picks her up. And you're like, oh, he's going to get her help. Wow. No, he takes her into the woods.
The hell is even that?
He takes her into the woods by a lake. Why he had to take her by a lake, I really don't know. And then she's kind of laying there, and she's like, I can't feel my fucking legs. And she's bleeding. She looked toe up from the flow up. This is some live leak shit, right? Bad, 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 bad. And he cuts his wrist, and he's like trying to give her his blood. And she's like, no, I don't want to be a vampire. And he's like, you won't be a vampire, just drink it. Which, first of all, don't be pushy. And then again, she says no. And he's like, LOL, I'm going to do it anyway. And force feeds her his blood, which will become relevant later. But just remember that for right now, he's a bitch because he ignored her consent.
Want to be a vampire? You won't be. God damn it, Sookie, do you want to live or not?
No.
That's a bitch move. Don't ignore people's lack of consent in any situation. Unless it is absolutely necessary. Like, if somebody's, like, trying to hurt themselves and you stop them, obviously you have to ignore their lack of consent to help them. It is what it is. But, like, not in this instance. Like, she was pretty well aware that she was fucked and she didn't want his blood because she didn't know what it was going to do. And she's allowed to make that informed decision. She was coherent. I just want to put that out there. Anyway. So, yeah. He does that and gives her his blood. And she looks like she's drinking a lot of it. Meanwhile, Jason is at the police station with Andy and Dearborn. And it kind of looks like they're divided. Andy is going in hard, okay? He's been watching a lot of police dramas. And he's like, you did this! And Dearborn's like, maybe. Maybe not. But they show him the tape. And he watches as he runs out of the house. And then she wakes up. Laughing. And he's like, wait a second. I didn't kill her. What the fuck? And Dearborn's like, he didn't kill her. Like, we know he didn't kill her. And Andy's like, but he did. Like, Andy's really hard on this train. Like, he is riding Jason's ass in slightly a homo way, actually. And Jason's like, well, what about the other tapes in the house? And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean other tapes in the house? And he's like, there was a tape with a vampire. And she had other tapes on her shelf. Like, where are all the tapes? And they're like, we didn't find any tapes. We found your tape in the machine. Like, your tape in the camera. Only yours. Which is very interesting. Because when we find out where the tapes are, because they're somewhere, I almost wonder if our suspect knew that the tape was in the camera and left it there, or if they didn't know and accidentally left it there and meant to take it. I'm so confused. I'm a little confused about that. I really like an answer, if anyone has one. I'm just kind of stupid. So he leaves. They let him go because what are they going to do? Sure, he was choking her during sex, but she was alive when he left. And Dawn can corroborate that he went to her job to have sex with her. So you know what I mean? So, like, they have to let him go, but Andy's really upset about it. Like, Andy will continue this. So he immediately is like, I didn't kill this bitch. I really thought I did. Holy shit. And he goes to Dawn's house, and they have some hanky-panky, because how do you celebrate finding out you didn't kill a woman? Have sex. And while they're laying there, he sees that she has bite marks on her, too. Tara comes home to find her mom passed out on the couch, and that's a really depressing thing for her. So she calls Lafayette, who is her cousin, and he takes her to a party that he's going to, and she brushes off anybody that comes up to her. Like, this guy comes to hit on her. I can speak English. Hit on her, and she's like, no, I have a psychotic husband, and he'll kill us both, so leave me alone. And at first, I kind of didn't like this scene, but the more I think about it, the more that, like, I actually get it now, like, why it's there. And you're like, yeah, Kristen, this is extremely obvious, but, like, I'm kind of dumb. So it's there to establish that, like, she pushes people away. She doesn't want, like, these people around her. She's traumatized. She's angry. I mean, we kind of already knew that from the first interaction that she has in the show, but, like, the pushing people away is going to be very important. It's something that she does. So that's why that's there, and that's why I included it. Back in the woods, Sookie is now awake, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, well, my blood healed you. And she's like,
What do you mean by that?
well, I gave you my blood, and it healed you. And she's like, why didn't we know about that? And he's like, well, because we don't tell you that. And she's like, well, you should. And they have a little combo. And again, he's like, what are you? And again, she's like, I'm a And then she goes, well, actually, I'm a telepath. And he's like, huh? And while I was watching this, again, to like refresh it, when she says I'm a telepath, he kind of looks scared. Can you hear my thoughts? Why? And then he looks relieved when she's like, no, that's why I like you so much. I'm like, girl.
Use your brain! Use your brain! Use your brain! The thing in your head, use it!
She asks him about the historical society, and he says that he'll come see her grandma tomorrow. And she's like, ooh, okay. And then she goes home. The next day, Sookie wakes up and she's feeling fantastic. Food tastes better. Her libido's up. Her energy's up. She feels strong. She's just flexing out here. Like, she's really having a good time. She's like, wow, vampire blood is amazing. And she's talking to Gran about it. And Gran's like, oh, I'm so excited to meet him and ask him all of these questions. And then Jason and Tara show up. And they're like, hey, girl, hey. We're going to crash this shit. Because ain't no vampire coming in this house and glamoring the two of you. And while that's sweet, and while I get the kind of instinct of, like, we don't know this man, he's coming into this house to, like, talk to these two women, and Jason's like, I'm the man of this family, let me sit here. You're dumb, and you're human, so what are you going to do if this man actually does come in here and, like, kills these two? Like, what are you going to do about it? Absolutely fucking nothing. Anyway, so Bill shows up. We learn that he can't come in without consent, which, thank God, because we know how he feels about consent. He'd be everywhere all the time, in everybody's house. And Sookie's like, okay. And then she clarifies, if I invite you in, can I withdraw your invitation? And he's like, yes, and then I'll have to leave. And she's like, okay. So keep that in mind. The meeting goes. Adele is just so happy to have somebody who lived in this town during the Civil War, that knew her family members, that all of this stuff. Jason's just kind of like looking at him like, what does he have that I don't have? What do vampires have that I don't have? And Tara hits the hard question, and she's like, did you own slaves? Which is so valid. With so many vampires in vampire media being Confederate soldiers, absolutely tear him to shreds, girl. Tear him to fucking shreds. And he's like, well, technically yes, but technically no, because my father owned slaves. And she's like, okay, so you own slaves. Which, yeah, valid. She's so valid for that. And Adele kind of shuts them both down. She's like, you're being rude to my guest. I will not have it. And then he decides he's going to put on the old Southern charm. And he's like, Miss Adele, can I please take your granddaughter for a walk? And Jason's like, oh, fuck no. And Adele's like, yeah, you can actually, because she ships it. She's the only person on earth that has ever shipped this. Be so fucking for real. And I'm like, girl, I love your optimism and I love your kindness and never change. And I love your empathy, but like, be so fucking for real. So they go on a walk, and Jason and Tara kind of mope about not being respected and their opinions, and Tara's like, let's cuddle, and she kind of just like cuddles up to him on the couch, and he's like, LOL, I forgot I have a date with Dawn, I gotta go. And I'm just like, damn, Tara. I feel you, girl. You're too good for him, girl. And Sookie and Bill go on their little walk, and they're talking, and we learn some things. Bill had a wife and 2 kids before he was turned, and Sookie is diagnosed with ADD because psychiatrists didn't know what to diagnose her with because she's a telepath. And her parents are dead, and her mom hated her. And Bill's like, wow, they hated you for your gift. How could they just hate you for your... Like, shut the fuck up. Actually, dude, like, it's not that Sookie's mom hated her. It's her mom was scared of her. Like, what do you do with a child that just, like, knows your every thought all the time? Like, obviously that's not Sookie's fault, but, like, what do you even do with that? Anyway, so they're walking through the graveyard and down the little dirt road, because this is Louisiana. And he's like, well, I live in this old house, but I can't get any contractors to help me because I'm a vampire and I'm only awake at night. And she's like, I'll help you. I got you. Don't even worry about it, buddy. Because apparently she has pull or something. Like, I don't know how you're going to convince a contractor that didn't want to come. Like, and they talk and they walk back or whatever. And she's just really feeling it. She's just really feeling this man. And I really don't know why. He gives me unsettling vibes. And I love Steven so much. Like, props to you. But the vibe is so unsettling. And she kind of goes inside, and that's the end of their little moonlit stroll. It was romantic or whatever. There was one more thing from this stroll that we learned. We thought that the rat trays were dead, because we kind of hear bones snap during that fight where she was beaten half to death. But now we get confirmation that it was him, and, you know, they're dead.
Yes, very sad. Anyway, it got me thinking.
Life's what you make it, so let's make it rock. Oh. So Jason goes back to Dawn's place, and they're kind of fooling around, but she's like, oh, I gotta get ready for work, I gotta go, and ties him to her bed and leaves. And listen, your kink is your kink, your thing is your thing, do that, but please, for the love of God, do not tie anyone to your bed if you are not going to be there to supervise, because it is so dangerous. Because if he couldn't get out of this and the house set on fire, or he had a medical emergency, or someone broke in, or he had to use the bathroom, he cannot help himself. It's bad for the wrist to be left there for that long in that position. The body can't move. It's just not good, okay? Tie people up if you want to tie people up, but be careful and do it supervised, and, you know, actually do it safely, please. Side rant over. The next night, Sookie is at work, and on the TV above the bar, she sees a news story about the reverend from the debate at the gas station. And him, his wife, and his young child were killed in a car crash. And without any other evidence, she goes, vampires killed them. Oh, so you can read that. You can get the context clues for that, but you can't get the context clues for literally anything else. You stress me out, girl. Like, I'm gonna need you to be so fucking for real. Like, I don't need... Like, she jumps to that conclusion so fast, she almost broke her ankle. Like, that's... Like, girl, be so fucking for real. So after work, she goes to Bill's house, and she's like, oh, I have the contractor things for you. And she knocks on the door. She's like, doot, 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 doot. And 3 people answer the door that we have not met yet. That is this dude, who you will recognize from Supernatural if you watch Supernatural as much as I do. And trust me, if I ever do another one of these, Supernatural will be the one I cover. All 15 seasons of that shit. I'm literally so serious. You will recognize him from Supernatural. This woman and the bald-headed dude from the sex tape. These 3 vampires open the door, and she's like, huh? But before she can really react to what's going on, they start hissing at her. And, like, I get it. The actors had to show their teeth and be like, but, like, it's so fucking stupid. And this one's, like, waggling his tongue about. And it's just so funny. Like, I really don't know how these actors didn't just fucking piss themselves laughing, because it's so funny. I hope they got paid so much money, because the shit that happens in the show is ridiculous. Yeah, and that's the end of episode 2. Episode 3 starts off pretty much immediately with them still hissing at her. And I really don't know how Miss Paquin over here wasn't cackling on the floor, because I could not do it. And she's getting uncomfortable, and then Bill is, like, inside, sitting in a dark corner, looking broody, and he's like, let her in. And I'm like, girl, you're so fucking dumb. And she walks inside, and she's like, I have those numbers for you, I guess. And he's like, okay. And they're kind of sniffing and snoofing around her. And this is the first time that any supernatural creatures tell us that she smells different. Now, that's implied with the whole what are you thing, but, like, they're saying that she smells good. Like, she smells like a steak dinner, like, nom 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 nom. And she's like, okay. And they're getting real touchy. And then one of them is like, I'm going to bite her. And he's like, no, she's mine.
Huh?
Sookie and I have the same reaction to that of, excuse me? She is not having that whole thing at all. She's like, what? You're what? Your friend? Your comrade? Your neighbor? Like, what am I? Huh? And there's kind of like tension. We're like, why won't you let us eat her? And then she's talking about how she fucked Bill and they're being real raunchy. And then there's two humans that are here and they're being kind of like manhandled and like used in a really gross way. And Sookie's kind of watching all of this go down. And one of them is like, oh, Bill, you have to taste this dude, like the human dude that's there. And Sookie's like, what the fuck? He's not actually going to bite this dude, is he? He told me he's only drinking the fake shit. And he goes to do it, because peer pressure wins, I guess. And she's reading the dude's thoughts, and he's like, I have Hep D. Like, I hope this bitch is sick or whatever. And she's like, no, stop. He's got Hep D. And they're all like, huh? Bill is like, fuck. Fuck because she just said something that she shouldn't know. Fuck because he almost got Hep D. And fuck because fuck. Because fuck all of these people. And these two are like, excuse the fuck out of me? Jerry has Hep D? Yes, the human's name is Jerry? And she's like, huh? Because how the fuck does she know that? And so they're fucking with Jerry and they're like, you did what, bitch? And they like knock him out and like break his arm or whatever. And then she's like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's only because he stops her that she doesn't just fucking eat her. Because it's very, like, she's the only one she's got the brain cell at the moment. Like, there's 3 brain cells between them, or 1 brain cell between the 3 of them. I mean, numbers are hard, okay? There's 1 brain cell between the 3 of them, and she's got it right now. She's like, how did you know that? Bitch, how did you know that? And Bill's like, oh, she's so injured she can't talk, right? Right, girl. And Sookie's like, yeah, I can't. And they leave. But this one, her suspicion meter is up. Like, she's not playing with anybody. And Sookie does not appreciate the behavior. She doesn't appreciate being claimed. She doesn't appreciate the nudity and the blowjob that she had to witness and the being hissed at. And she's like, I've got to fucking go. And I've got to go right now. She fucking beelines out of there and won't give him a good night smooch. Which, you know what, girl? Stand your ground. This is the only time she's ever going to stand her ground in her entire life. So, you know what? Good for you, girl. She gets home and fuck-ass Bill has followed her. And he's like, but just talk to me. And she's like, do you even have thoughts? Is that why I can't read your thoughts? Because you don't have thoughts? Because you're dead? And he's like, huh? And girl, I was like, huh? What do you mean? I need you to elaborate on that, baby. Like, what do you mean? Like, obviously he has thoughts. He's talking to you. You're so fucking dumb for that. Anyway, girl. And then they have this kind of debate about what makes them different, like what really separates them. And then he thinks that he says some deep shit. He's like, well, magic keeps me alive just like it keeps you alive. And she's like, magic doesn't keep me alive. Are you fucking dumb? And he's like, just because you know how it works doesn't mean it's not magic. And I'm like, you thought you ate, but you didn't eat. You didn't eat, baby. Like, I'm gonna need you to be so fucking for real. And she's like, actually, no, leave me the fuck alone. Like, we're breaking up. We're doing whatever. And he's like, ugh, and like runs off into the woods. Like, it's very stupid. Bill is pretty upset about this, and so he goes over to the 3 vampires' house, and he's like, guys, you have to act better. We're humans know about us now. And they're like, fuck all that noise. Like, we didn't ask to be revealed. Like, y'all did that shit on your own. Like, we're acting how we want to act. And he's like, I'll report you, because, you know, he's a fucking hall monitor, or whatever the fuck he is. What are you, fucking ROTC? Like, you're gonna act like the police out here? Like, I'm gonna need you to be so fucking for real. He irks me. And they're like, we're not scared of Eric. Which, you should be. And then he's like, well, there are people bigger than Eric. Okay. Yeah, but are they? Are there really? And then like, we're not scared of her. So that conversation is important because that means there's a hierarchy that we don't know about that we get to explore. And it's kind of interesting. Kind of. So there's that. And then we're going to cut back to Tara and Sam, who are kind of being sad, McSad-sads. Because Sam's in love with Sookie and Tara's in love with Jason, and both of them have been rejected. Damn. And they're kind of like, wow, this is just like not cool, you guys. This is just not cool. And then Tara goes, why don't we just have sex? And you know what? She's kind of right. Because at this point, like, what's the point of fucking being sad about it? Like, why don't we just fuck? I like the way she thinks. Sometimes. So they do that. And after that happens, Sam's laying in bed and, you know, sleeping as you do. And then he starts barking. As you might not do. Tara doesn't seem to have any follow-up questions to that happening, but sure as God's got sandals, I would wake that man up and be like, why the fuck are you barking? What the fuck is that? Huh? Bitch, huh? Jason, who is still over at Dawn's house, because apparently he never sleeps in his own bed, and they're having an argument because Jason is spiraling because she had sex with a vampire and he can't get it up, and she's like, bitch, if you can't get it up, you're of no use to me. And you know what? Girl boss. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere, because she asks him to leave, and she goes, oh really? And she pulls out a gun, because again, girl boss. And they have this fight, and she shoots it in her house, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a little far, but, you know, girl boss. And he runs out of the house, and one of the neighbors comes out and sees him, and he's like, your neighbor's a crazy bitch, and he, like, storms off. And she's really just girl bossing it. She said, if you can't give me the one thing I want you for, then you need to leave. And I respect that a lot, actually. Like, fuck yeah, girl. Hell yeah. I think it's so funny. So he goes to Lafayette's house, and we find out, oh my God, I can't speak English today. We find out about Lafayette's third job, which is drug dealer. There's a secret fourth job. Stay tuned. And he says that the only thing that he can give Jason that would help his situation is V. And he's like, what? And this is where we kind of get the in-world rundown. We've heard V like 2 or 3 different times, but now we can finally get the explanation from the man, the myth, the legend. And he says that it's like transcendent and it makes you feel stronger and your libido will go through the roof, as we've seen with Sookie, and it is just the best thing that ever happened ever. And it's $600. And Jason goes, well, fuck, I ain't got $600. And Lafayette says, secret fourth job reveal. I have a website and you're going to be on it. And Jason's like, huh? What the fuck? And he ends up dancing naked in his underwear and a mask for Lafayette's adult website. Which Tara witnesses, by the way. And she's like, what the fuck is happening in my life right now? Tara comes home to find her mother completely belligerent and drunk and just really, really bad off. And I'm mentioning this because it is the reason that she is the way that she is, but also because it is one of the most emotionally raw and actually well done parts of this entire show. Like, Tara and her mother's relationship is just good. It's well written. And if you grew up with an addict or an alcoholic or someone like Letty Mae, then you know how well written that it actually is. And I really just needed to highlight that because it's just good. Like, it's just good, and it deserves the props, and it deserves, you know, the recognition for that. So, yeah, Letty Mae is a violent alcoholic, and Tara is her caregiver and her child and her victim. It's sometime the next day, and Sookie gets a phone call from Sam, and he says, hey, Dawn hasn't come into work. I think she overslept. She likes to party. Will you go to her house and wake her up? And she's like, yeah, no problem. And she drives over, and she knocks on Dawn's door, and she doesn't get an answer, and everything's quiet, and she's like, that's weird. Hey, girl, you overslept. And she, like, comes in, and Dawn is dead. Dawn is laying in her bed and she's been strangled. Very much like Maudette. And while Sookie is kind of like processing the shock of seeing a dead body, Jason comes in behind her holding apology flowers. So now that is 2 dead people in 2 days, 2 or 3 days, that are connected to Jason Stackhouse and to a vampire somewhere. If we were a movie, you'd be the right guy, and I'd be the best friend. Episode 4 kind of starts off directly after that, which I like about this show. I like that it doesn't jump very far most of the time, and it's just usually like bam, 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 bam. Jason and Sookie are sitting in Dawn's house, and Dearborn and Andy have shown up. The body has been reported. You know, they're interviewing people, and Jason's suspect number 1. Like, he was there last night. There was a gunshot. They were, yelling. He called her a bitch. The neighbor heard that. Dawn had been strangled in the same way that Maudette did, and Andy is just like, he did it again. We let him out, and he did it again. And Sookie is just trying to piece together what the fuck possibly could have happened, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, Jason, his thoughts aren't about I killed her, and the neighbor's thoughts are weird, and just like everything is kind of like too much right now. It's just a lot for our girl. Okay, she's not used to all of this. Andy arrests him on the spot. They take him outside, put him in the car, and they're kind of like pushing the gossipy people back, and they're like, hey, like, this is a crime scene, you need to respect it, you need to step back. And Jason, who still has the V from Lafayette, does the one thing that Lafayette told him not to fucking do, and that's drink all of it. He's supposed to drink like a drop, maybe, but he chugs the entire vial like a fucking idiot and is taken to jail. We expand a little bit on our world, and we learn that Renee and Arlene live across the street. And in this kind of like trailer park, Sam owns all the trailers or the lots. I don't know what he owns, but he owns them, or the little houses or whatever they are. And Arlene lives there. Dawn lives there. Renee lives there. Hoyt lives there. His mom lives there. Pretty much like a lot of people live in these houses. And so they're gossiping, and we kind of learn some things. Arlene is a little bit controlling, and she's like, very about her image, and Hoyt is very shy, and, Renee is just kind of a put upon boyfriend of this single mother, and Maxine is the most controlling woman that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, she literally won't let Hoyt breathe without commenting on it. And I like that we kind of zoom out a little bit to kind of see our supporting cast, because we don't get to see them as much as I would like. Because I really like most of the side characters, and I really despise most of the main cast. Jason is at the police station and is being questioned by the cops, and he's starting to feel the side effects. One of the side effects when you take that much V is you get a little horny.
Do I make you horny, baby?
And it's not looking good for him. Andy's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, he's in this bathroom, and he's just like uncontrollably excited. And Tara shows up, and she goes, how dare you arrest him? Blah, 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 blah. He was with me all last night and this morning, and you have to let him go because he has an alibi, and blah, blah, blah. Like, literally just lies. And girl, while I get it, that's your best friend's brother, and you're in love with him, you do not know. You don't know. You don't know. You really don't. You, like, girl, be so fucking for real. Like, I love you. Thank you for looking out. But, like, you gotta, like, think a little bit. And so she puts him in the car, and she notices his problem. And she has to take him to the hospital because he has a priapism. And that has to get treated. And the treatment for that is painful, big ouch. If you're a man, don't look it up. It's going to hurt really, really, really bad. You're going to feel phantom pains just by learning about what that is. So just Don't do it. Just take my word for it. Not fun at all. Don't. Look it up. Back to Sookie. Sookie's avoiding Bill. Bill's not, respecting her boundaries, which character trait at this point. She tells him that both Maudette and Dawn apparently went to the same vampire bar and asks if he's going to be around her 24/7. Will he please take her because she wants to see if she can hear thoughts about it. And he's like, yes. And that, get excited. That is when we meet the most chaotic and lovable fucking duo in this entire show. And the only reason that I fucking like this thing, that is Pam and Eric.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now, come on now.
I love her so much. I love her so much. Like, you don't even understand. I love her. I love her. If nobody loves her, I am dead. If nobody loves her, I am dead. Okay? I love her in the book. I love her here. I love him in the book. I love him here, but a little bit less than in the book. So a little scoop on them before we meet them. Eric, he's a vampire. And so is Pam. And Eric is her maker. He turned her. And they own this bar called Fantasia together in Shreveport, which is where Maudette and Dawn went. So that is where Sookie is going to go. The second that Sookie meets one of them, they are immediately just iconic and funny and sarcastic. And they hit on her because she smells good, apparently. Like, so good. And I like this interaction, and I like it in the books, and I like it here, because she holds her own. When he's like, aren't you sweet? She's like, not particularly. She's not taking shit from anybody. Like, Bill is terrified of these two, and Sookie's just like, and what? And what about it? What are you going to do about it? She talks to the bartender and shows them the pictures of the two girls, and he says that they both wanted to die. And when Sookie says, why? And he goes, well, anybody who comes here does. And they talk to Eric, and Eric says that this one offered herself and he said no, R.I.P. Maudette. And this one, he did fuck, and he did taste. So Dawn got lucky. You know what? If that's one of the last people you slept with before you died, maybe that's okay. Like, maybe life was okay for you a little bit. Bill once again says she is mine, and Sookie's like, okay. And Eric's like, are you sure? Like, are you attached to her? Attached to her? Like, or like what? And Pam is like, I never forget a pretty face. Like, they are so funny. They are so iconic, and I love them so much. They made the entire show. So while all of this is happening, and Sookie is, having her verbal little sparring match, and they're kind of looking at her, she hears a police officer in the bar thinking about a raid that's about to happen on the bar. And she's like, Eric, you need to leave. And Eric's like, what? And she's like, there's about to be a raid. And he's like, I swear to God, if you're a cop, I'm going to rip your fucking tits off. And she's like, no. That guy's a cop. There's about to be a raid. You need to go. And Bill's like, fuck. Because once again, she has made herself a target because she has exposed her telepathy to a vampire that is not him. And he's really weird about that when she does that because he really just doesn't like it. I wonder why. And they all leave. And Eric's like, I will be seeing you again, girl. Like, I like you. You'll be back. Don't worry about it. And they get in the car and they go home, and they kind of like, these two kind of have a little argument, and they get pulled over by a cop, and Bill's mean to the cop, and she's mad about that. And then she's like, we're still not together. Like, I still don't want to date you. Like, please get that through your head. And while I appreciate that she's standing up for herself right here, she's not going to. She's about to crumble in like literally 5 seconds. So just kind of keep that in mind. So then we randomly just cut back to Sam, and Sam's in the bar, and the bar's closed, and I guess he's like cleaning, and he's looking at a picture of him and Dawn that's behind the bar, and he grabs a pair of gloves and leaves, and he goes to Dawn's house because he's the landlord, and he goes through, and he gets in her bed, and he starts rolling around in the fucking sheets. And at this point, I'm just begging. I'm on my knees, crying and begging and screaming and throwing up for one man in this town not to be a giant, massive red flag full of fucking unimaginable horrors. Like, I'm just so tired. Like, Lafayette's fine, but he's gay, and we haven't really met Terry yet, but I forgot to introduce him, but Terry's there too. And Renee's just kind of in the background, and Andy's angry, and Dearborn's negligent, and fucking, like, Eric's weird. I mean, yeah, and Bill's a walking red flag, and Sam's now sniffing a dead woman's sheets. Like, there's really nobody for her yet. And I'm just like, girl, I'm screaming for you, girl. Like, there's nobody. Like, there's Hoyt, but Hoyt is, like, her brother's best friend, and, like, also, like, his mom is fucking crazy, but, yeah, like, I'm just really screaming and crying for her. Episode 5 starts with Lafayette giving Jason more V, because that worked out so fucking well last time after he already promised Tara that he wouldn't do that. And I really, really, really hate this plot line because Lafayette is shown to be a smart and capable character throughout the entirety of the show. He is just vicious. He will do whatever it takes to survive. Why the fuck is he giving this man more V after he already said he wouldn't, after he doesn't ask him to pay for it, after it could get him in trouble? It's such a fucking stupid decision that the writers made for Lafayette, and it just doesn't make any fucking sense, because it's to speedrun his addiction plot line that we're going to get into in, like, the next episode or two. But, like, it's so dumb. Like, there's no need to make Lafayette make this decision. Because after what happened, it stands to reason that Lafayette would never sell him anymore, give him anymore. So for him to just give it freely to him and not make him do anything, or, like, just fucking just hand it out like candy, it doesn't make sense. And it makes me very mad that the writers did that, because Lafayette is better than that. Back at the bar, Sam asks Sookie out on a coffee date after the historical thing, because Bill still has to go to that, even though that they're not talking anymore. And she says, you know what? Hell yeah. And you know what? Hell yeah. Like, they're cute together. I mean, he sniffs beds and barks like a dog, but, like, I'm sure we can get some pet play in here and it'll be fine. Yeah. At the meeting, Bill gets on the podium and says a bunch of stuff about the Civil War and about being a soldier and about the people that he knew, and he answers some questions, and he talks about his wife and his kids, and somebody gives him an old picture from the local history museum, which is of him and his family, and that makes him very sad. And throughout this part, but this episode in general, we get flashbacks of how Bill was created. And Bill was coming home after he had been dismissed because the war was over and, you know, the soldiers were sent home, and he was going home, and he took a shortcut to get back home, and he ended up lost, and he knocked on this cabin door, and a woman named Lorena opened the door, and I don't have her on the board because she's not super important until next season. She'll be there next season, but she kind of brought him inside, gave him some food, gave him directions, and then tried to come on to him. And when he said no, no, I'm married, no, I have kids, she was like, finally, like, the man I've been waiting for. Because apparently she's been in these woods looking for a man that wouldn't try to take advantage of her so she could turn him. And then she sexually assaults him and turns him into a vampire against his will. And let me preface this. That is sad. That is tragic. No character deserves that at all. You know what I mean? He was sexually assaulted, turned against his will. He'll never see his family again. All of that is bad. Lorena is horrible, and I really do feel for him. But that does not excuse some of the shit you're going to see him do. It really, really, really genuinely does not excuse it. And we can't let it slide because of a sad backstory. Like, take your empathy cap off for 5 seconds and remember what he's done in the short time that we've known him. And then if you know what he does in the future, like, this is not an excuse for that. An interaction that I really like at this meeting is between Terry and Bill. I haven't introduced Terry yet. He works at the bar, but he's like very, very much in the background. Like so far in the background that I kind of glossed over him while I was thinking about it. Terry is a veteran and he has severe PTSD. And he talks to Bill about how, you know, if he needs somebody to talk to, I'm here. Like, they'll never understand what it was like to be a soldier. Thank you for your service. Very, very, very friendly. And I love him. And for the past few episodes, he's been complimenting Arlene. He said her hair is like fire and her voice is soothing. And it's very cute. And he's not super important this episode. But I love him. And he will do some things. He's also Andy Belfler's cousin. I think they're cousins. Yeah, they're cousins. But he's just a general lovable dude. And like one of the only other non-red flag human beings in this show. And so, yeah, I just wanted to point him out because I haven't talked about him and I felt really bad about it. Sookie and Sam go on their little coffee date and it fucking tanks. He puts his foot in his mouth and he's mad that she kissed Bill and he's just very like a red flag. Like, I'm so sorry. She had an experience before you got here. Like, you had every single opportunity before Bill ever showed up to do this and you didn't do it. So like, it's literally your fault. And he tries to take her home and she's like, no, I'll call a cab. Like, I literally don't even want to look at you. And she goes home. And when she comes home, she's kind of like, that was horrible. And she's like taking off her shoes or whatever. And she steps in something. And she turns on the light in the kitchen. And Adele is dead.
No. Wait.
I was, all my flabbers were gasted. I was literally so shocked. Baby, why'd you leave me? Why'd you have to go? I was counting on forever and now I never know. I can't even breathe. Bill shows up at the top of episode 6 because he felt her distress when she found her grandmother because she's had his blood, so now he can kind of feel her emotions. Sam shows up because he followed her back from the coffee shop, and these two chuckle fucks decide this is the perfect time to have a dick measuring contest. Like, I'm so fucking sorry. There's a dead woman on the floor. Maybe put it the fuck away or take it the fuck outside some other time. Like, this girl has just lost her heart and soul. Like, there's nothing in the world that she wants more right now than this woman to be alive. She'd kill both of you to have that woman back. So maybe shut the fuck up, realize that you're not important here, and go the fuck away. It's a thought. It's a theory. Andy, Dearborn, the coroner's assistant, and the coroner show up. And they're kind of investigating, and she's reading their thoughts. And it becomes apparent very, very quickly that Gran wasn't the target. Sookie was the target. And Gran got killed because Sookie wasn't here because she was on her disaster of a fucking date with Sam. Okay? And Sookie starts feeling really, really fucking bad about that because she died for me. I was the target. Like, I'm the reason she's dead. And she's kind of calmed down a little bit, and she's like, Sam, you need to go. Bill, you need to go. And she gets on the floor and she starts cleaning. Like, cleaning right now. Like, she's cleaning up her grandmother's blood and viscera. And I'm so stressed for you, girl. Like, I'm so stressed for her because this is so much. And she does that and goes to bed, does whatever. And the next day, all of the mourners start showing up. Because if you live in the South, you know what I'm talking about. When somebody dies in the South, people show up and just hang out at your house. And I don't know why. And don't ever do it to me. If I lose somebody, do not show up to my house. But like, Lafayette's there, and Tara's there, and Arlene is there, and Hoyt's mom is there, and a bunch of other people that we don't really know are there. Yeah, and they're just kind of like gossiping and there, and they brought casseroles and shit. And Sookie is just not in the place for this. Who let these people in the house? This is too much. Lafayette and Tara take her upstairs, and Lafayette gives her drugs because apparently that's his solution for everything. Like, give them drugs. Jason is not here, though. He's not in jail. He's at his house. He's not here, though, because he does not know. And he threw his phone. That's what it was. They went to call him, and he threw his phone because he was hungover. And he goes to work, and Renee is like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And he's like, what do you mean I work here? I'm your boss, actually. And he's like, your grandma's dead, bro. And Jason rushes to his grandma's house and busts in the fucking house like he owns the place, and he don't. And goes upstairs and slaps the shit out of Sookie. When I said whore derogatory, I meant whore derogatory. Me and season 1 Jason Stackhouse have beef. And beef that cannot ever be resolved. Like, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. And season 1 Jason is just so fucking horrible. Fuck that guy. He's worse in the books, if you can believe it. Like, he literally has a character arc here. And he is bad, and then he's good, and he's kind of like that, and then he, grows up eventually. Like, wow. Think about that, a grown man growing up. But in the book, he's worse. He hits this bitch multiple times in the books. Tara and Lafayette kick everybody out because they're being nosy fucking bitches, and they are. And Sookie takes some drugs and goes to sleep. And Bill is standing watch outside of her house because she has a nightmare. And the dog is also there. Dean the dog. Double D. An unspecified amount of time later, the funeral takes place, probably like a couple days. Funerals are pretty fast. And Letty Mae shows up, which is Tara's mom. And a man in a wheelchair shows up. And he's giving Sookie the eyes. Like the eyes. And Sookie's like, who the fuck invited him? And Jason's like, I did. Why? And she's like, Grandma fucking hated him. How fucking dare you bring him here? And girl, the immediate beef that she had with him, I knew he touched kids. Like, the immediate beef that she had with him, that is kid touching beef that she has, okay? Girl, it ain't funny. It's bad. So Sookie's giving him the side eye. Bill's obviously not there because it's the daytime. Letty Mae gets up and she gives a really good eulogy. She says that Adele took care of her child when she couldn't, and that she was a good God-fearing woman, and that she hopes she rests in peace. And it's actually really good. And this is the beginning of the Letty Mae redemption arc. And it's good. I like it. Sookie is just overwhelmed from the whole experience and leaves. And I don't blame her, really, because if I had to listen to all the people's thoughts at my family member's funeral, I'd probably freak the fuck out. She leaves. She's kind of standing over some other people in the graveyard's graves and kind of breathing. Sam comes over to talk to her. She's like, I don't really want any company. Thanks. So sends him on his fucking way. Tara leaves. Lafayette leaves. This guy leaves. Jason leaves. He's strung out on V. And then Sookie goes home. She's upstairs. She's in a nightgown. Just like a full bell sleeves and a little neckline, and it's to the floor. And she's brushing her hair, and you're like, oh, okay. Slay. Like, we love a nightgown moment around here. Like, I have a moo-moo. And then she's putting on makeup. And you're like, huh? And then she's spraying herself with perfume. And you're like, huh? And then she takes off out the house, barefooted, by the way. Barefooted. Running off down the house. Nightgown billowing after her like it's a fucking cape. and she's running to Bill's house. And he can like feel her coming, and he's like, what the fuck? And he goes outside, and she's just running down the driveway like this is a cheesy romance movie. And she like runs into his arms, and they have sex or whatever. And girl, Sookie had a vision, and she said, I'm gonna lose my virginity this way. And you know what? She stuck to that vision, and I have to give her props. I wish she had done it with somebody other than Fuckface McGee, but like, I really respect a woman for going after her creative dreams. Like, live your life, girl. Episode 7 is right after the sexcapade that we had, and we get a really good emotionally vulnerable moment where Sookie says that the man that showed up at the funeral today is her uncle, and that when she was a child, he sexually abused her. And that Gran was the only person that knew. And so that's why, you know, she was upset when he came to the funeral. Because Gran immediately believed her and disowned him. Adele, by the way, like, just love her. And, you know, he's part of the reason that she didn't have sex with anybody. And that she kind of shies away from relationships because this man ruined her life at such a pivotal age. And it's really vulnerable, and like I have nothing funny to say here, but what I will say is place your bets on if Bill Compton handles that appropriately. So Tara is dealing with a problem with her mother because after the funeral, Letty approached her and said, listen, I want to change, but there's a problem. There's a demon in me. And Tara's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? And she's like, no, there's a demon in me, and I got somebody that's going to take it out, but I need $450. And Tara's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? And Letty's like, yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it. And she basically manipulates her into giving her the $450, and they go out into the woods, and they meet this woman, Miss Jeanette. And Miss Jeanette is... think of a stereotype of an old voodoo woman. That's Miss Jeanette. And she's in this little bus, and she kills a possum. She kills a possum, y'all. I love possums. She killed a possum, and she put some rocks on her belly, and she says some weird shit. Some weird shit that I feel like if ChatGPT existed in 2008, that's who wrote the shit that she's saying. Like, it's so fucking funny to watch. But it seems to work, and Letty Mae ain't got no demon no more. And then she tells Tara has a demon. And Tara's like, of course I have a fucking demon. You just want more money from me, damn. Arlene sees Sookie at work and notices that something is different. She's wearing like a little scarf moment. And she finds out that Sookie had sex with Bill, and that's why she's glowing. And I've never really liked that, the whole like, oh, you lost your virginity, you're glowing, you have the sex glow. I'm like, no, she just is happy. Like, she's like, goddamn a woman if she's happy. And Sam doesn't take that news well, and he humiliates her in front of the entire restaurant. So that's kind of fucked up for him to do. And then we cut to Uncle Bartlett. That's his name. I didn't tell you his name, but now here's his name. And he is taking out his trash, I think. And who should appear but the man, the myth, and the menace, Bill. And he kills Bartlett. And while part of me is happy because he's a sex offender and he assaulted Sookie, and I'm not happy about that. And as someone who's been sexually assaulted, I understand the urge to get revenge, and I understand how your partner might feel like they need to get that revenge for you. You know, luckily my husband is very good about not kind of acting that way, but I definitely have friends of mine who, when I told them, they were like, oh, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to do this, that, the third. And I get the urge, but she told you that she had moved on and she had healed and she had made something better of her life, and she was not letting that ruin her entire life. And it's beyond that. Like, it's not his revenge to enact. It's not his story to react to. It was something that was shared with him in a moment of confidence, very quietly and very vulnerably. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just not something that anybody knew. And that's such a raw thing for her to say. Like, Jason doesn't even know. Like, her own brother didn't know and invited this man. So you must be important to her for her to tell you this, and for you to turn that on her and make her complicit in a murder. It just negates all of that trust that she just put into you, because you took her pain and her trauma and you turned that into more trauma and violence. And to me, that says that his thought process was, I heard your pain and decided that I knew better what to do with it than you did. And it immediately just puts her back in the position of like, I'm the authority figure here. I know what to do. I know better than you. It's not justice. It's not kind. It's not good. It's control. And it's control disguised as protection. And that makes me incredibly sad for her, because it whether she realizes it or not, or whether you realize it or not, you know, it means that he didn't listen to her when she talked. He didn't care when she said it. He did this as a calculated act to act as her protector and not to actually give a fuck about what she was feeling. And that was a long ass side rant, but like, that's always bothered me, the way that he handled it, because I put myself in her position. Like, I'm not friends with my abuser, and I'm not even in the same place as them, and I'm happy to be far, far away from them, but I would never encourage anyone in my life to enact violence upon that person, and I would feel so responsible, and it would be such a violation of my trust for anybody in my life to do this, and I just feel for her, and it really, really pisses me off. You will not be missed, sir. Thank you for dying. So, back into a lighter topic. Jason is out of V. Lafayette won't give him anymore. Thank you, Lafayette, for, you know, being a person and using your brain. And so he goes to Fantasia. And Pam is like, Stackhouse, huh? Because she's checking his ID. You related to Sookie? And he's like, what? How the fuck do you know my sister? And she's like, oh, she was here. And he's like, huh! He is not a fan of that shit. He's going to remember that. And he goes in there and he talks to the bartender, Long Shadow, the same one that Sookie talked to. And he's like, do you got anything strong? And he's like, a beer? Like, what do you want? And he's just being really fucking obvious, because I don't think he understands that V is not something that vampires want to give you. It's something that is taken. It is a violence thing. And so before he can get his dick ripped off, he meets this woman named Amy. And let me tell you something. I don't like the name Amy. If your name is Amy, we have beef. And it's not your fault. I just hate your name. But Amy pulls him to the side. She's like, I have what you want. Stop being a fucking idiot before you get yourself killed. And he's like, oh, okay. And he takes her to his house, which is a weird thing to do, because I think Shreveport is said to be like an hour from where he lives in Bontemps. So like, that's a weird thing to just take a stranger an hour away from the place you met them. But whatever. And I don't like Amy because she just starts saying things about things. I can speak English, Lord help me. Things about energy and vibrations and the earth and Gaia. And I'm just like, girl, please shut the fuck up. It's not that I don't like hippies or spiritual people or people that believe in energy and vibes and tarot readings and zodiac signs, whatever, believe whatever you want to believe. But hers specifically is performative. Like, I know that shit's performative. You can tell when someone is sincere about these things, and she's not. She's really just not sincere. It's all rehearsed and scripted. It is an identity that she is using to run away from her childhood, which she says was upper middle class, suburbia. And I don't like that at all. So while that's happening, back at Merlotte's, these three vampires walk into Merlotte's looking for Bill, and they see Sookie, and they're like, oh, our friend. And they're very public about forming a connection to her, and they're like, we just moved here. And Sam's like, you're literally not welcome here, you should leave. And they're like, we can go wherever we want. And they start getting a little violent, and Terry tackles one of them, or tries to. And it's really funny because he goes, jihad this motherfucker, and like runs at them with a broken pool cue. And it's really funny. He's not successful and he doesn't get hurt, but I just love him for trying. And shit's going south. They're being assholes and scaring people. And then Bill shows up and he's like, we're not doing this. We gotta go. And he leaves with them to get them to leave. And Sam's like, your boyfriend's not welcome here. Keep him the fuck away from my bar. And everybody's kind of just like mad at Sookie, like it's her fault. So a group of rednecks, including this guy right here, decide that it's time to take action, and they go to the house in the very early morning and they set it on fire, killing everyone inside. We didn't start the fire, but we kinda did, 'cause you tried to eat us. We didn't start the fire. Should've left us alone when you had the chance. We didn't fire. So Sookie is upset about the redneck's plan to go kill the vampires because she thinks Bill is going to get killed. And we all know that she is wrong because we're the audience, but she's pretty convinced that he's dead and she's freaking out. And she goes there the next day, and the coroner and his assistant are like scooping up the innards because vampires like explode when they die, and that's kind of stupid, but it's kind of funny. And he says that there were 4 bodies. Episode 8, Sookie is spiraling. She's manically cleaning her house. She's yelling at people. She's freaking the fuck out. She's crying herself to sleep. And like, it's a little bit of an overreaction. I feel like if someone I just started dating got killed, I would definitely be sad. But like, this level of freaking out is a little much for me. Letty's exorcism seems to have worked. Tara's fucking confused because her mom's making pancakes and like cleaning the house, and like she's actually doing a lot better. And Tara's like, I'm pretty sure that shit's fake. And Lafayette says, well, shut the fuck up about it, because the placebo effect worked, bitch. And your mom's doing what she's supposed to be doing, so can't really be hating on that. Jason and Amy have moved in together, which is about the speed of a lesbian relationship. And I said that with love. Just so you know. Just love you guys. But every lesbian friend I have moved in with their partner within 3 days, and it's very strange. And they're doing V together, and they're having these transcendent experiences, and it's all earth or whatever. And when they run out of V, and Lafayette won't sell them any more V, Amy convinces him to follow Lafayette to wherever he gets it from. And they follow him, and how Lafayette doesn't notice a truck that he sees every single day following him all the way to a different town to somebody's house is crazy to me, but whatever, Lafayette, do whatever you gotta do. And it turns out to be this man, Eddie, and you might recognize Eddie from Office Space, which is one of my top 5 movies of all time. And I love him so much, and I'm so excited to see him here. He's so good. He is gay, and he exchanges blood for sex with Lafayette. So apparently whatever Lafayette going on in his pants is good as hell, because this man's giving him blood and making him tons of fucking money doing it. Sookie did all that whining and crying about this man, and he's alive. He was in the graveyard. He buried himself. And she's like standing over his grave crying, and he pops out of it, and they have sex while he's covered in dirt. And all I can think about is, girl, you're going to get an infection of some sort and you're going to die. Do not have sex with people who are covered in dirt. That's all I got to say about that. Arlene and Renee get engaged. Congratulations. Everybody say congratulations to a long and happy and healthy marriage. Eric shows up at Bill's house, and he's like, hey, buddy. And he's completely naked, by the way. I need your telepath friend, because somebody's stealing money from my bar, and I need her to read all the human employees and tell me who it is. And Bill's like, fuck you, no. And Eric's like, fuck you, actually, yes. So Sookie goes to Fantasia, and she's talking to the staff. She starts with an accountant, and the accountant doesn't know what's going on. And then she talks to Ginger, and Ginger is this frazzled little lady. Like, they've really fried this girl's brain, like, LOL. But not funny. And she's thinking, and Sookie notices that there's a bunch of gaps in her memory, but she knows who's taking the money. And right when Ginger is starting to talk, Long Shadow, the bartender, jumps over the counter and attacks Sookie, and Bill kills him. And he explodes. Episode 9 picks up right after that with Sookie covered in blood and screaming, Bill being like, oh shit, I just killed somebody in front of this guy, and Long Shadow's dead, and Ginger is kind of just like dazed. Eric and Pam, it's so fucking funny to me, do not care about anything that just happened. Like, Sookie is freaking out. She's covered in blood and guts and viscera, and Bill's like panicking, trying to calm her down, and they're just standing there. They're just like, damn. And they're just not even caring. Sookie's cleaning herself up. Pam hits on her, because we love an LGBTQ queen. They go home, and Sookie's house has been vandalized. Her cat, Tina, has been killed and hung from the ceiling fan. And you know what? Justice for Tina. Justice for Tina, but also props to Eric, because he inadvertently saved her life. Points. He's getting points. I'm going to start a point system and award people points. 10 points for him, 100 points for her, and negative 5,000 points for him. Just so we know where we are. So somebody tried to attack her again, and she wasn't there. Eric is the sheriff. They have like sheriffs. Like I said, there's a hierarchy that we get to learn about. And he's like, you gotta go to the magistrate, the magistrate, the magistrate. You killed someone in front of me. I had to report you. 5,000 points for Eric, because that shit's funny. He takes Bill, and Bill's like, I'm gonna tell Sookie where I'm going. And Eric's like, don't worry. If anything happens to you, I'll take care of her. And you know what? That's my boy right there. Eric and Pam and Bill stop by Merlotte's, and Sam's not happy about that. And he's like, I have to go away for a while. LOL, I killed someone for you. Don't forget that I killed someone for you. I killed someone for you. I killed someone for you. And he talks to Sam, and he's like, I need you to protect her, because you love her as much as I do. And I need you to protect her. And Sam's like, yes, please die, please die, please die, please die, please die, please. Please die. Ooh. We're all hoping that, but, you know. Eddie is now a permanent prisoner of Jason's basement. Amy is draining him and being real mean to him, but Eddie and Jason are vibing. They're vibing. They're feeling it. They're on each other's wavelength, okay? Jason throws me out chaotic bisexual vibes, but that's never really addressed, and I'm really sad about that. But they're having a heart-to-heart, and Amy is freaking the fuck out about it because she's like, he's trying to split us up. And this is where Jason is like, maybe this random woman that I let move into my house and that I'm in love with is just actually not a good person. And his synapses start to fire, and then they have sex again. But then he talks to Eddie again, and Eddie says, I'm just a simple man. I was ugly, and I had a wife and a child, and then I realized that I was gay, and my life fell apart, and I was, you know, trying to hit on men, and it wasn't working for me because I look like this, and then I met this guy, and he was a vampire, and he turned me, and I've just lived a simple life, you know? Like, I'm not really doing anything to anybody. I'm just fucking pimp chimping. And Jason's like, wow, that's really, truly inspiring. I actually like you a lot. And so, you know, he's sneak feeding him food, and Amy's just mad about everything. Tara goes back out to the woods because she's kind of talked herself into this tizzy about having a demon, and the lady is like, oh, well, it's going to cost more money than your mom's because your demon's meaner. And she's like, yeah, fucking of course. And then doesn't go through with it. And then she tells Sam about it. And then she says, I don't want to date you anymore. It's just not good for us. And then he puts the money in there anyway because Sam, although he is weird, is nice. We like Sam. And Sookie is scared to sleep in her house, rightfully so. And so she goes to Bill's house because, you know, nobody's going to look for her there because nobody really knows where he lives. And she's delighted when the dog from, I should have put a picture of the dog. Could have fit him in somewhere. The dog is there, and she invites him inside, and they're like asleep in the bed or whatever, and she wakes up and Sam's naked in bed with her. So episode 10, Sookie's freaking the fuck out because Sam is naked in bed with her, as previously stated, and he's like, no, calm down, and she like runs into the bathroom, and he kind of scratches at the door, and it turns out he's been the dog the entire time. And this answers questions like why he barks in his sleep and why he was sniffing Dawn's sheets because he was looking for the scent of the murderer. But it doesn't answer questions like why the fuck wouldn't you turn into a more useful animal when Sookie was being attacked? You could have turned into a fucking tiger and mauled these people, and you didn't do that. Could have turned into a fucking alligator, and you didn't do that. Like, I'm just confused. Like, you're not using your powers to the best of your ability, and it's really costing people their life, and you're really pissing me off. Tensions between Jason and Amy continue to rise because Eddie is playing them against each other, trying to get Jason to let him out. Tara gets the exorcism and is feeling actually really good despite the fucked up visions that she had while she was tripping balls. And everything seems fine until she goes into a drugstore and sees Miss Jeanette in a bad wig and realizes that Lafayette was right and they got scammed, and, you know, this is just a woman. Like none of her problems are fixed. She does decide, though, not to tell her mother because her mother is doing so well that it would set her back so far. Renee and Arlene have their engagement party at Merlotte's, and it's going pretty well. Everybody's having a good time. They're bumping and moving and grooving. Tara shows up. She's shit-faced. She's not doing good after the whole Miss Jeanette isn't real situation. Everybody's dancing. Bill is still not back yet, and Sookie is feeling a little weird about that. Renee dances with Sookie. Hoyt tells his mom that he's going to get as drunk as he wants. Jason says that he's in charge in their relationship, while Renee says that Arlene is in charge in their relationship. Lafayette punches Jason because he knows that Jason had something to do with Eddie's disappearance. He doesn't know how. He obviously doesn't know that he's in the basement, but he knows that something went wrong and that Jason's the only person that could have, you know, had anything to do with it, which is a little bit of a leap because he didn't notice the truck following him unless he did. But if you did notice the truck following you, why would you go to Eddie's house? But it's whatever. Lafayette knows that he did some shit, and now Eddie's missing. He hasn't connected the third dot, which is psychopath here, but he knows some shit's wrong. He's like, I'm not getting killed for some stupid ass white boy, which, hell yeah. And Sookie goes inside to get more ice, and she hears somebody's thoughts, and it's the killer, and they're not thinking in words, they're thinking in pictures. And she sees a face, and a victim that we have not seen yet, and that is victim number 1. So let me go ahead and pull her out. Oh, please, Lord. Oh, goodness, okay. That is victim number 1. And we don't know her name, so I'm not going to X her out until we know her name and know her story. So she's going to stay unX'd for now. But Sookie's like, oh my God. But the important thing is she gets away and she runs into Sam, who's coming in the front door as the killer is going out the back door, which means that it is not Sam. Sam is not the killer. But back to the whole, he's partly a dog sometimes because he's a shapeshifter thing. I know who the killer is. You probably know who the killer is. If he did all the sniffing, why does he not know who the killer is? And why did Sookie not ask him that question to begin with? I just thought about that while I was thinking about this. Tara drives home shit-faced drunk. Don't do that. You'll kill somebody. And gets into a car crash with herself, like by herself, because she sees a naked woman and a big pig. I was trying to say pig. Big pig walking down the road, and she kind of swerves and like gets herself flipped over, and she goes to jail for the night. Let's see what else. Jason and Amy come home and are fighting again over Jason wanting to let Eddie go. Jason comes down the stairs and is untying his binds when Amy grabs a stake and kills Eddie with it, because that's one of the ways to kill a vampire. You stab them with wood through the heart, they explode, as previously mentioned with Long Shadow. I forgot to put his little X. Oh my God, I'm so unprofessional. Oh my God. You have been eliminated. Boop, 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 boop. Gone but never forgotten, Eddie. Rest in peace, baby. Bill's trial takes place, and Eric and Pam are watching. And as punishment for killing a vampire, he has to make a new one. And we meet the lovely and beguiling Jessica Hamby, I think. And she was just a girl that snuck out of her house to go to a party. She's 17. She's 17. She's 17. 17. 17. I want you to know this. She's 17. 17. 17. 17. Okay? And just because she's a vampire now does not mean that she's suddenly wise beyond her years. She's still 17. She's only been on this earth 17 years, and she wasn't even cognizant for like the first couple of those years. So that is a child. That's a child. Anyway, you might recognize her from a bunch of stuff. She was in that escape room movie, and she plays a lot of D&D, and she's chill. Yeah, so you might recognize her too. Bill doesn't really have a choice, and he turns her, and she begs for her life, and it's actually really sad. So, you know, rip to you, girl, but not actually rip. So you don't get an X, but, you know, rip to you. Episode 11. We're almost done with this season. Bill, not thrilled to be a parent. He thinks she's too wild and needy, and she thinks he's a fucking boring stick in the mud, and she's right, because fuck him. And he decides, you know what, let me do what every man does and pawn off my responsibilities on someone else. And so she is temporarily going to be in the care of Eric and Pam. So Sookie fills in Sam about what happened, what she saw, and he spends the night at her house on the couch, and then they're having breakfast. And she's like, yeah, well, she was wearing a name tag, and it was something pie, Big Pie, Patty's Pie, whatever. And he's like, oh, I know what you're talking about. This place, it's on the highway. And so they go there, And none of the staff at the restaurant seem to remember this woman, but one of the customers does, and they tell us a story. Her name was... was it Carrie? I didn't write down her name. Are we serious? What the fuck? Unprofessional. Anyway, her name, which I'll put somewhere, worked at this diner, and she had a brother named Drew, and one day she died and Drew disappeared. She was strangled. Strangled like all the other people that were strangled. And the customer says that it was rumored that she was consorting with vampires, but he doesn't really think that she was. So that ties her to all of the other people that have been murdered. So Sookie's like, we got it, boys. So Sookie and Sam go to the police station and they talk to the officer about the case, and he agrees to send a fax of the basic information and a picture of Drew Marshall to Bonton for them. And she's like, wow, thank you. So Sam and Sookie drive home and they talk about their relationship, and Sookie's like, well, Bill hasn't come back, and I was so scared when I almost, ran into that guy, and I was running for him, and if he really wanted to be here, he would be here. And first of all, he told you that he wouldn't be able to come back, so I don't know why you're fucking playing. Don't make me side with Bill Compton. Don't make me side with Bill Compton. I don't want to fucking side with Bill Compton. I don't like Bill Compton. Anyway, so they're sitting on the couch, and then she's making out with Sam. And I'm like, girl.
Whore.
Have you lost the fucking plot of the movie? I thought you were so in love with him that I heard that you were freaking the fuck out. Bitch, you're making me side with Bill Compton, and I don't want to fucking side with Bill Compton. I fucking hate Bill Compton. Don't make me side with Bill Compton, bitch. And of course, that's when he decides to show up himself, and then they get into another pissing match, and Sookie's like, get the fuck out of my house, both of you! And I'm just like, girl, like, this is your fault. Like, you did this. You made me side with Bill Compton, and you made, both of you, shame on you. Cut back to Tara. Tara is being arrested for DUI, rightfully so. Don't drive drunk. I hope you get consequences every time that you drive drunk, and I hope that you never hit anybody, but I hope that you get arrested every single time. And she's in jail, and Letty comes to visit her, and Letty's like, I'm not letting you out. I'm not paying your bail. And I had mixed feelings about this until I thought about it. And now I have the correct opinion, as you will soon have when I give it to you. As much as some people might hate me for saying this, and they might not understand, I completely agree with Letty, and I see where she's coming from. She has firsthand experience here. She knows what it's like to be in the drunk tank. She struggled and she fought and she fell and she did so much. And it has to be terrifying for her to see Tara start to do the same things that she used to do while she was in active addiction. And to see that consuming her child. And so she's right to leave her here and have her face this consequence that she never had, because maybe if Letty had this consequence, she would have changed sooner. She would have had the motivation to do so. Like if she had had the consequences, if people stopped covering for her, like Adele covered for her, and Sookie and Jason covered for her, and Lafayette covered for her, and all of these people were complicit in her addiction and her neglect and abuse of her child. Like if she had faced a consequence, maybe things would have been different. And not to mention that having Tara in the house with her is dangerous, because if Tara is going to continue to drink and go down this path, as she is planning to do in her little spiral, that could send Letty right back into addiction. And I'm not saying that Letty is perfect. But she's completely justified in this decision. All of the things that Tara has done for her, whatever, does not negate the fact that Letty still has to get through this addiction, and she has to prioritize herself. Like, it sucks that Tara had to prioritize her and her addiction for a long time, but like, now that Letty is in recovery, she deserves the chance to prioritize herself and heal and do what she has to do. And while Letty has the support of the church and her brothers and sisters in Christ, Tara is openly against the church, and that's fine. Believe whatever you want to believe, like I said earlier, do whatever you want to do, but it can be really damaging and really hard, and she could really relapse. And like, while she's making a hard decision, she's making the right decision for her child. She's giving her advice and giving her consequences where she would have needed them back in the day. And it sucks. And I hate it. But it's what happens. And Letty's right. I don't know. Like, my mom disagreed. Draw your own conclusion from that. But like, Letty was right. And I think that that's very good. I like their relationship. I like the character dynamics. I like it. So, after that emotional thing, Letty leaves, and a woman named Marianne comes into the jail cell, and she's like, I'm bailing you out. And Tara's like, what? And she's like, and you're going to come stay with me because you don't have anywhere to go. And I'm going to take care of you. And that's weird. Like, that's just weird for someone. I'm not saying that people can't do good works and have good intentions, but like, this is weird. The way she talks is weird. She looks familiar, but you don't know from where, and it's just like, you know, it's just very weird. But Tara doesn't have any other options, so she ends up going with her. Lafayette is at work, and on the TV above the bar, he sees a senator that Lafayette has been sleeping with and selling drugs to, by the way. Being on an anti-gay, anti-drug, anti-vampire platform and running on that, and Lafayette's like, oh really? Oh really, bitch? Oh really, bitch? And so he decides that he's gonna go to the like meet and greet that the senator is having, and really just get in his face and go, I'm so glad we have moral, ethical people like you in office. It makes me feel safe. And I'm just like, whoa, fuck him up. I wish all the gay lovers of all the senators that are being hypocritical assholes would do that. Like, that's political activism right there. Like, fuck him up, Lafayette. I absolutely love you. Oh my fucking god. Okay, moving on. Jason is not doing good after Eddie's death. Amy continues to dehumanize, manipulate, just kind of do everything and try to spur on that addiction, because for her, like, that's what ties them together, is their addiction. He talks to Hoyt, who I really should have put up here. I'm just now realizing I really should have put him up here because he's been doing stuff. Okay. Jason talks to Hoyt and Renee, and he's like, yeah, you know, she's addicted to V. He conveniently leaves out that he's also addicted to V. I just want to put that out there. Because, like, I don't like her, but not all the blame is on her. Like, he's here too. He's like, she's addicted to V, and I just don't know. Like, it's just ruining our relationship. Hoyt is like, help her out of addiction. She's really nice, and you're really heavy. Help her out of addiction. And Renee is, like, also encouraging, but he's also, like, he looks concerned. Like, his first question is not, oh my god, like, are you okay? Your girlfriend's in addiction. It's, has she fucked a vampire? Some might call that suspicious. But anyway, he takes Hoyt's advice, and he's like, we're gonna get clean of this, and we're gonna do whatever. And she's like, okay, but let's get high one more time. Ooh, like, let's go. No, bitch. If you are in addiction and you want to get out of addiction, please reach for help. And if someone around you says, let's do it just one more time to get it out of our systems, run the fuck away. Run the fuck away and listen to that voice in you that is telling you to get help, because you need help. You need help. You need to get out of addiction. Any type of addiction. All addictions can hurt you and destroy you, okay? Like, just get out. Don't be around people that want to continue an addiction that is actively hurting you, let alone killing you, okay? Like, don't do that. Run away, okay? I believe in you. Anyway, Jason agrees because he's an idiot. And while they're zoned out, and they're kind of just like vegged out on this little trip that they're on in their heads, the door opens and somebody comes in to their bedroom and kills Amy. So both of our suspects are gone at this point because Jason is laying there zoomed out, and we know that it couldn't be Sam because Sam came in the front door when the killer went out the back door. We hear the killer going out the back door. So, who else on this list could it be? And what I like about that, what I like about this kind of reveal that it's not Jason and it's not Sam, is that the show is pointing you in that direction pretty much the entire season, and then it pulls it out from under you. It's like, it's not either of them, but it is someone. And I like that. Now, if you're an eagle-eyed person, you might recognize the hands or the shoes of the person that does this, because we haven't seen their face yet. But if you're not, you're kind of confused because your two main suspects are gone. But like, hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Hey now. I haven't tried to hide my dislike of this character at all, but it actually is kind of sad because A, nobody deserves to die like that, and B, this will be a pivotal plot moment for Jason. This is someone he loved. Like, we can sit here and make jokes about her, but like, he loved her. This will change his life, and you know, maybe she could have changed. Maybe I was too hard on her, but like, probably not. But you know, it is sad. So R.I.P. girl. You know, this is a real loss for the Amy's of the world. Jason wakes up and finds her and calls 911 and is like, I think I killed her. Because at this point, he's connected to every known victim. Like, he knows he didn't kill his grandma, but like every other victim he's connected to. And he's like, I deserve to go down for this. She died under my watch. She was high in my bed. Like, I killed her, whether on purpose or not. And he's arrested. And as Jason is being walked through the police station into the jail cells, the fax from the other police station comes in, and we see the face of our killer for the very first time. And ladies and gentlemen, it's fucking Renee. Now, if you've seen this and you've been listening, it's probably not a surprise to you. I wasn't really subtle about my hints here, but the first time that you watch it, you're really not ready for it to be him. Like, you're just not ready for this. Because what the fuck do you mean it's Renee? Renee's been back here the entire time. He's been a background character at most, and that's exactly it, girl. He's been in the background. He's been killing all these people. And how does he know that Maudette slept with someone that was a vampire? Well, Maudette probably told Arlene because Maudette worked at the gas station and Arlene smokes, and she probably told Arlene, and Arlene told Renee. And that is Drew Marshall's sister. So he confronts her about that. And Jason said that she was doing V and probably slept with a vampire. That's Amy, not Dawn, sorry. Put two brunettes side by side. And Jason would have told him that Dawn slept with a vampire, and that kind of freaked him out. He has been the central kind of person in all of this where he knows that these people are fucking vampires. Now, why he's doing this, we don't know. Like, what could possibly trigger him so badly. And Adele, again, wasn't the target. Sookie was. But Adele is sympathetic to vampires. All of these people he would know about because he has information. Ooh, it's so good. Ooh, it's just so good. Because no one's looking for him. And I love it. No one looked at him. You don't think about him that often. But it's so fucking good. Like, you even see him interact with Bill and he's perfectly fine. So you're really just not thinking about it. And I really, really love this reveal the first time I saw it. Love, 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 love. So Renee visits Jason in jail. And he's kind of feeling him out. And Jason's like, well, I must have done it and not remembered it. And here's what to do with all my stuff. And, you know, obviously you're going to have to run the road crew for a while and blah, 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 blah. And Renee says, it's not like you killed a bunch of innocent women. You must have had your reasons. Bitch, what? And his doesn't go off? Are you serious? Like, nothing? And Sookie comes in, and she keeps getting pulled into Renee's thoughts. And his inside voice doesn't sound like his outside voice. His outside voice is like deeply, 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 like theatrically Cajun. And his inside voice is just like regular fucking regular. And she does not notice anything. And then she's a fucking idiot just giving information away out here. And she goes, well, I'm close to catching the killer because I went and did the like, girl, you're so fucking dumb. You're so fucking dumb. I can't stand you. Like, stop doing that. Read the room, girl. If you know it wasn't him, why would you trust literally anybody? Anybody at this point. Tara wakes up at Marianne's house, and it's just like a mansion. It's beautiful. It's tropical. It's wonderful. She's playing in the pool. She's eating fruits. She's having a great time. But then it pans up to the bedroom, and the butler is silencing Tara's phone and taking it from her room. And Marianne's in the kitchen fucking vibrating, which means that she's the lady on the road because we see the pig. And then we meet... Oh, I didn't put him up here either? Really? I really slacked. Okay, so you should flame me because I really slacked. We meet a man named Eggs who also lives there, but is not fucking Marianne and is basically in the same boat that Tara is, and they're flirty vibes, like right off the bat. Like, he's got a guitar and like a shell necklace. Like, he's cool. So she's having a fucking wonderful time while Miss Weird bitch up here is just vibrating. A man from the Fellowship of the Sun, which is a church group against vampires. It's what the reverend that got killed in the car crash, he founded it. And he tells Jason that they've started a fund for his defense and that they're going to support him, and that, quote, the church privately applauds what you did. Those women betrayed Jesus and turned their backs on their entire race. We're going to get more into this into season 2, but I'm going to tell you, they do a really good job of portraying a very biased and exclusionary and just horrible group of people at the church. And, yeah. So fuck you if you're like that. Like, if you're exclusionary toward anybody in your church group, like, just fuck you. But also fuck the Fellowship of the Sun. And Jason is kind of just like, okay, whatever, and takes the pamphlet. Andy's loving the attention of having caught the killer. Dearborn's unconvinced that Jason's even the right guy. The fucking assistant over here that you recognize from Glee that has been working with the coroner the whole time, he gets killed. And, like, not on screen, but, like, there's a phone call where the coroner finds out that his assistant is dead, and he's like, no, I'll call I'll call the family or whatever. Like, we're just really rolling down the hill on this. Don't stop believing. Hold on to the feeling. So Sookie decides to go to work that day, which is a fucking wild decision to me, but what the fuck ever. And people's thoughts are just too much. They're thinking about Jason and the way he killed her and all of those things. And she's like, I have to go, which, duh. And she goes to her car and it doesn't start. And Renee pops up and he's like, I'll drive you home. And she's like, okay. And it cuts down to the engine. That's the word for it. And like there's a thing unplugged. So that's why her car wouldn't start. And he's driving her home and he's asking her about her telepathy, which is something he's never done before. And she's like, that's weird. And she starts reading his thoughts and they're very suspicious. Like, don't think about anything. Don't think about anything. Don't think about anything. Don't think about them. And she's like, it's weird that like your inside voice and your outside voice don't match. And she says it like jokingly. And he's just like, and she's just not getting it. Like, I guess she's got a lot going on, but like, girl, I'm gonna need you to fucking get it. And then we cut to Arlene's house where her children are watching the sex tape of Maudette and the skinhead vampire. And Arlene sees them and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And she goes through this box and it's just like all of Maudette's tapes and like a bunch of like souvenirs almost. And then a Cajun voice like accent guide for actors. Bitch, I was gagged. The fucking accent thing is so crazy. Because he didn't have to have an accent. He didn't have to have an accent. Like, that was never a thing that he had to do. That's something he chose to do, which is fucking crazy to me. Like, Sam, back at the bar, finds Renee's vest that he left, like the safety vest. And he's like, oh, let me put this in the lost and found because Renee will be back, obviously, or I'll give it to Arlene. And he smells it because I guess it was like, Renee was sweaty. It's hot outside. It's Louisiana. And he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And he's like, what the fuck? And he runs outside and Sookie's car's still there. And he's like, Terry, did you see Sookie? And he's like, she left 12 minutes and 35 seconds ago. Like, he says a really specific number and that's really funny to me. And he also hides his cigarette that he's smoking. And I'm like, baby, you're a grown man. And I love you, but whatever. So Sookie and Renee get back to the house and she's like, yeah, it's real hot in here because I haven't really been opening the windows because, you know, somebody's trying to break in and kill me, LOL. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, can I get you some tea? And he's like, yeah, sure. And she goes in there and she sees a memory because he's like in the house. And he's like, don't think about it, don't think about it. But he's replaying the memory of killing Adele. And she's like, oh! 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 And she's like, fuckity fuck. And she goes for the shotgun that Sam had left there when he was sleeping in there. And Renee had already unloaded the bullets, which is very rude. And she hits him with it. And then she throws the shotgun away. Like, bitch, keep hitting him with it. Like keep hitting him with it. She runs away and he's like chasing her. And she's running to Bill's house. And so she's running through the graveyard or whatever. And my question is, what do you think he's going to do? He's asleep. Best case scenario, you bust into his house and he's asleep and you get murdered in his house. Like, I don't really get that. But they're in the graveyard and she sees like an empty grave that is going to be used soon and she like jumps into it and he's like trying to find her and she's like looking at the memories of him and he says, get out of my head, I can feel you in my head. And I'm just like, that's strange because I think, as far as I remember, he's the only person to ever say that. So, what makes him so special to the point where, like, he hates supernatural entities and he can, like, feel her in his head and, like, what's going on? Is he just, like, mentally ill? Obviously, he's mentally ill. But, like, is he just extra specially mentally ill? Or is there, like, something unique about him? Food for thought. We never really get any confirmation on that. She's hiding in the open grave. He can't find her and he tricks her by thinking, I'm gonna go into the woods. She must have run that way. And she pops her stupid ass head up and he starts beating the shit out of her. And Sam the Wonder Dog here shows up and is like, rah, 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 and then gets his ass beat because he's a dog. And then he turns back into a human because he turns back into a human when he's unconscious. And Renee's like, what the fuck? And this interaction from Renee's point of view is actually so fucking funny because he's like hitting this dog. He's trying to kill this woman. He's having a bad day and he's mentally ill and he's like having a nervous breakdown. And then a dog that bit him turns into his girlfriend's boss. And he's like, huh? And he's like, what the fuck? And he's like kicking him. And through all the commotion of her panicking and freaking the fuck out, Bill has woken up because again, he can feel her and he's like, I gotta go get her. And he like starts walking out into the sun. And my question is like, bitch, what the fuck were you gonna do about it? Like, you know, if you walk out into the sun, you're gonna die. So what the fuck is that about? And then he's kind of just like walking into the sun, which I guess is romantic, I guess, but like kind of useless at the end of the day. And he's just like getting burnt and just crispier and crispier, looking like Anakin out here. And she's just passed out because Renee hit her in the head.
I ain't gonna lie, me too. When I went on her page and seen her pictures, I said, "Oh, jump scare."
Somehow Sam and Sookie get him down. I think they hit him with a shovel or some shit. And he's dead. And then Bill's just burnt, useless body is just like off to the side. He's not contributing anything. And Sookie's like ugly crying over him. Like, it's a whole stupid ass scene. He's like, I'm sorry. And she's just crying. Like, get him out of the sun. And Sam comes in and he's like, let me be a hero. And he like buries him so he can just like not die. And then we cut to Sookie laying on the couch beating the fuck up, and I guess she went to the hospital, and Tara and Lafayette and Arlene are there, and Sookie's like, Sam, you need to let people see the real you. She's high on drugs. Sam, you're just like, Sam turned into a dog and he saved me, and you just, the real you is beautiful. Like, she's like feeling real good. Like, Lafayette's like, let me have what she's having. And Arlene apologizes. Jason's released and he shows up and he's like, oh, I can't believe that he did this. Are you okay? Everybody's just kind of, you know, happy that she's alive and that the serial killer has been caught or dead, killed, whatever. And everybody kind of leaves her alone and she's kind of sleeping. And then Bill knocks on the door and she's like, oh my God, you're alive. And unfortunately for us, he is alive. Like, I don't really... And we were dancing and moving and moving to moving, and just when it hit me, somebody turned around and shouted, play that one. So we have a 2-week time jump. Lafayette is missing. We see that after he left Sookie's house, he went to the bar and was taking out the trash and something attacked him. We don't really see, but he's MIA. So that's fun. Tara is still living with Mary Ann, and Sam has seen Mary Ann, and he's not hyped about that. Mary Ann says some cryptic shit like, did you really think you could hide, little dog? And I'm just like, whoa! Jason has started attending Fellowship of the Sun church services. I couldn't think of the word for services. Tara is getting all self-help on people. Terry is once again flirting with Arlene. Arlene is feeling it just a little bit, but she's still, you know, hurt about the whole serial killer fiance thing. Eric brings Jessica back to Bill because he's like, she's fucking annoying. You know, this is too much to ask, and I don't even like you that much. Bill's panicking because he he knows he's gonna have to tell Sookie about Jessica, and Sookie's not gonna like that. And Andy is moping because he was wrong about Jason and he looks like a fool. And then Tara makes him feel better a little bit, and then they walk him out to his car and there's a dead body in it. And that's where we end season 1. We finally get the memory of Cindy, I think her name is. I keep forgetting, but I think her name is Cindy. She is Drew / Renee's sister, and one night when she was getting ready for work, he noticed that she had vampire bites on her, and he killed her by strangling her, and that's, you know, kind of the thing, and ran away. And I guess that compulsion stayed with him, and he killed literally anybody else that he found out was associated with vampires. And R.I.P. to Cindy, girl. Like, you really did your thing. You really made your mark. Take me down to Kokomo. Stick. Thank you. So that is where we leave season 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 dead folks. Lafayette is missing. Sam's still hopelessly in love. Bill is unfortunately alive. Jessica is back with us, and Andy might have killed someone. So until next time, when I grace your screens with my incoherent rambling, that's all I got for you.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.